All right, so welcome everybody to a celebration of creation. It's a conversation with some of the people who have been in Heather Nichols' Generative Business Pods. I'm Maggie Schlarb, and we have Michelle Folis. I always say it wrong. Am I saying it correctly this time? I am. Yay! Laurie Laursen, and we're missing someone. But when they pop on, we will say hi to them. And so this is really a conversation about like what would it be like to be in a constant and dynamic conversation of creation and business. And that's what these gorgeous ladies have been in for the last, I guess it's been 5.5 months. We're still in that last month. And I personally have done the Generative Business Pods, and we'll tell you more about them later, but we'll tease you with them right now. I've personally done them 3 rounds and then have been a part of them in a different way since then, I think. And so this is just about a celebration of creation and what has been created and what has been played with, and an invitation into the conversation of what conversations are possible with business, with living, with bodies, and what the Generative Business Pods can be like. So Michelle or Laurie? Hi, Katarina. I love your smile. If you could celebrate, and I know it's not just one thing to celebrate, and in this 10 seconds, what's the biggest thing you're celebrating from the last few months?
Oh, wow. For me, I'm Laurie. Yeah. It has to do with my body. I mean, that's why I signed up and, talked to Heather and said, I know it's a business pod, but it's really light to join. I'd like to come in with my body. Could I? And she was like, yeah, come play. And what I really noticed is I went from a sense of not wanting to be here, not knowing that energy was present, to discovering it, to totally acknowledging it and just being like, okay. And then it just dissipated. And then since then, I actually went to a place where I was like, wow, my whole way of life before was to just survive and be here and try and have it be as least painful as possible. And it's actually turned into a place where I'm actually like, creating my life. Like first it was like just surviving. Then it was like, you can create. I can create. Well, what would I like to create? And now I'm creating. So it's been a really, like kind of fast 6 months or whatever, 5.5 months, but it's been a massive, massive game-changing time for me. So that's the short version.
I know. There's so much short. And I have another question for you before and Tara's here. Hi, Tara. Tara's also we're shining the light on Tara as well as Michelle and Laurie. And for you, Laurie, what is creation for you? Because you said you just kind of survived and now you create your life. What for you, and how you talk about that, and maybe to shed a light on a tool or something that allowed you to see that and also step into this really beautiful place of creation that you're
in. Well, now I actually know that my life is meant to be fun. And I'm really playing with that a lot and allowing the things that like really, I would have to say that for me, what right now the biggest tool is for me is acknowledgement. Well, I guess there would be 2. Where I functioned from before, there was so much intensity in my world that I would not receive it. I had barriers, blocks, cement walls, like everything. Not recognizing that when I wasn't able to receive the intensity, I wasn't receiving everything that life had to contribute to me. Mm-hmm. So I've really been making an awareness, a conscious effort to allow myself that anything that's intense and it comes up, I don't go into a place of despair anymore. I right away just sort of go, okay, I maybe go there for a second and then I'm like, okay, I can do this. I have my back now. And I'll allow that energy to like go through my body or whatever. And then acknowledging the gift that I be. And it seems that what I've noticed is really cool is the more I acknowledge myself, the more awareness that I have, which is so freaking awesome. Like I actually find out then even more who I be and what works for me and what my preferences are, and that I'm a gift in the world. And it seems to be as that the more and more I do that, the more and more I receive.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
That's
Thank
cool. If that's not an invitation to start acknowledging the gift that you be, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
For that.
You know, and one thing that I just wanted to add about Heather is that I came into this, you know, with my body into a generative business pod. And at times, whether it was mine or not, I had the awareness, I'm like, you know, I shouldn't really be talking about my body. Don't talk about your body. This is a business pod. And I thought, you know what it was like to join. Heather was open with it. And so I did. And what I found that I loved about Heather is that she really walks her talk, and I never felt judgment, and I always felt allowance from her, just allowance to be me where I was at, you know, even if I cried or not. And I was really, really grateful that whatever I brought to the table, Heather was like, cool, okay, let's deal with this. Let's go somewhere with this. Let's ask a question. So anyways, thanks.
Yeah, thank you for that. And for those of you just tuning in, this is a celebration of creation. And we're talking about the Generative Business Pods. Heather Nichols created this program, the Generative Business Pods, because she was looking to have conversations about life, living, business, bodies in a whole different way, a way that allows everybody in conversation to choose and to step into a vibrancy and a potency and a being that allows you to create your life and really expand and explore beyond what the walls and the boxes of the world have been placed around us. And so we're just celebrating some amazing beings today. And so Tara and Michelle, what was my question? It was, what is, if you were like celebrating something in this 10 seconds that has occurred, like that's like such a joyful celebration for you that's occurred since you started the Generative Business Pods, or has been an ask since before the business pods that's showing up right now, what would that be?
Well, I think for me, oh, Tara, I can't.
No, go girl.
Okay. Well, I think for me, one of the coolest things that showed up was that I can create business and money from what brings me joy. And so much of, you know, I've had many jobs over the years, and I never really got that I can create from the space of joy. And one of my favorite sort of phrases around the joy of business is, or not the joy of business, but the Generative Business Pods with Heather, is everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing shows up the way that I thought it was going to. And so one of the things that I'm celebrating as well is I really have gotten to see all of the places that I have constructed boxes within the different businesses, and really tried to do it the right way, or do it the way that we're kind of taught in this society, not recognizing that the joy that I have and that I be, and that sort of like the special gifts that I have, that each of us has, can allow us to create business in a totally, totally different way.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tara?
Yeah, for me, I was even in the same pod as Laurie, and I want to echo something that Heather said all the time. Even if you're not in a business or creating a like structured business, your life is your business. And recently, I've been having conversations with Rebecca as well, and we were just talking about, for us, like the word business is really constrictive and small, and we went to this place of exactly that. It's us, like we are it. And so from like our beingness, everything is our creations, and so everything is able to generate money. And Heather just, she really did create that space. We talked about everything. And Maggie, like before it ever started, you said that on one of the hangouts too. You're like, I talked about relationship, I talked about my body, and so like you really opened it up for the fact that all of this, all these little things are really big things that generate for us and are generative for us. And my whole life has changed since joining Access and like the bars, and especially coming into these pods in this generative place. And it happened immediately in ways that I wasn't expecting. Like all of a sudden I was in like a really generative relationship with a man, and I was like, holy fuck. Sorry, excuse me. like, what is this? Like, this isn't a beyond. And like, it really helped to have other people to go to, and to have Heather to go to and say, what do I do with this? Like, this is like bigger. And she's like, is this what you asked for? Yeah. Okay. Is this generating in your life? Yes, it is. Is it a contribution to your money? Yes, it is. I'm like, okay. So it helped me to receive and to acknowledge myself as a creator. And the other thing I want to point out that has been massive is this piece of like having your back. Heather has our back, but also I've gone from a place of having, I had a big discussion in our pod about like a best friend who unfriended me and stopped talking to me because I was happy and generating. And now I have so many people around me who are like, okay, what else can you do? Like, how much bigger can you get? Like, and there's absolutely no needing for me to diminish my potency. There's no needing for me to diminish my success or my ability to create money. And Heather, for sure, is like, all right, how are you going to turn that up? How are you going to turn it up? And there's not a hesitation in anything she does about like saying, turn it up, like really, like turn it up even more, and really connecting us with the space in us that has the ability to do it like that.
Yeah.
So,
beautifully
I love all my peeps.
Yeah, beautifully said, because I think that is part of like it's like what makes the Generative Business Pods different from anything else that's out there. And it is this, there's so many things, and from my experience, Heather's probably one of the first people that ever truly had my back when I didn't even have my back. And that that makes me, that really hits home for me. And it's like and I watch her with everyone who comes into her world. She has their back in a way that's really, really beautiful. And that's part of what makes the Generative Business Pods different. Alongside, you get to come in as you get to come in as, as today, like anything we'd say that has been like a contribution to my life, I'll probably cry today, and I can show up like that because it's okay. And there's nothing judged, and there's nothing, that's untouchable in the conversation of the Generative Business Pods. And it's about creation. It's about showing up, letting your shit get out of, like, being like, here's my shit. Like, it's really pretty shit. I've made it look pretty. And I kind of want to hold on to it, but I don't, because I know if I hold on to it, it's going to just still be there. right? And so, the facilitation with Heather and having podmates and just really opens the door to more, opening the door to more, which if you're on the email series, you would know the tools that have been sent out. And if you do want to know those tools that have been sent out about opening the door to more, please message me or put your email right in. Message me, actually, because I don't think this chat saves, but message me personally, Maggie Schlarb, or Maggie@heathernichols.com, so we can get you those tools and that information. But it's this Generative Business Pods, and how it works, I want to jump into how it works a little bit, is that you get to meet for 6 months pretty much every week, unless there's a 5-week month, then there's the spaciousness of that extra week in the month. And there's 2 group calls so one is now with Heather that has a topic, and then there'll actually be a Q&A around business and life and bodies with me. And then you have pod calls as well, where you're on a pod with 5 different people, where you have the same 5 people that you get to be with over the 6 months, and you hop on these calls, and everybody has their lasered facilitation. And the beautiful thing about having those 5 people, and please speak up if you've been on the pods, is that everything that someone comes to the conversation with applies to me in some way, shape, or form. And I think that's the coolest part, because it's like they're asking the questions that I didn't even know I needed to ask. And then I get the information that I didn't even know I needed to get, so that I can go to where I desire to go. And that's one of the beautiful, beautiful things about coming into a pod, and then the whole group is this dynamic expansion of everybody does this. We start here and we're all vibrating, and someone goes out like this and we all go out like this, and we just keep vibrating greater and greater in our unique ways. So I probably couldn't say enough about the pods. And I also want to celebrate, I'm not sure, Katarina, do you have anything you want to share? I'm putting you on the spot.
Hello, everyone.
Is there anything in particular, the question that I've been asking, is there anything in particular in this 10 seconds and over the last 6 months that you just want to shout out to the world and celebrate? And maybe even you're like, I don't know if I should share this, but I'm going to share it and celebrate.
Well, I am celebrating. It's Friday evening here in Stockholm. It's been a really intense, super fun, generative, creative week for me. This is the first week during this period of the Generative Business Pods, I employed a person, and I also let her go. And this is the first week when I'm kind of on my own in my business again. I'm not on my own, but not with my employee. And I'm in such a different space with that. So together we have, and in my team, we have created something that is kind of bigger and more dynamic. And now I went into a little bit, how am I going to handle all this on my own? Which of course I'm not on my own, but you know how we go. And then what I've experienced now is like, I'm so freaking happy and so willing to step up and learn even more what she's been doing for me. And the funny thing is, I my business showed me to let her go. I haven't had so much of income and projects coming in my business lately, the last few months, which is super interesting. And now I have so many companies asking for quotations, and it's so funny how it all shows up in different ways and how you don't expect it to. And also, I must say, this is so funny. I'm in my bed. I'm super relaxed. I put on a Netflix thingy. I have some snacks here. And all of a sudden, my phone starts with beep, bing, 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 something, alarm. And it's this one, this Zoom. I had forgotten about it. And some alarm just, so I just said, okay, I guess I should be here now. So I've kind of, this following the energy thing. And what you said, that everything that comes up in the pods for someone, I'm so grateful for everything. And when I finally decided that it's okay to bring my shit up, so I'm so grateful for all of the people and for you, Maggie, and for Heather for her laser sharp facilitation and super amazing allowance, and the energy that she is. So I'm very grateful.
Cool. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Please.
So a couple of things when you were talking earlier is, you know, one of the cool things about this for me was, I mean, Heather, there is a demand there. You know, you have to make the demand of yourself to step up and to change and to choose like how you're going to play within the group and within your businesses. But it's like, what I think one of the biggest things for me was like the breaking down of all of the crap, kind of like what Tara was talking about in so many areas of our lives, which then affects our businesses, or our businesses affect, it's all so tied together. And so there is a level of intensity that she invites you to if you're willing to step into it. And I mean, some of the calls that I have had with her, that we have had with her together and then in the pods, they have been some of the most I'm like, am I like in some like 7-day access consciousness class for like 45 minutes or an hour? I mean, they are really intense in the most beautiful of ways of unraveling all of the crap to just allow for a different space. And one of the things that's so exciting for me is I've really stepped into choosing and creating the businesses and my income streams from the energy, following the energy, being in the flow, as opposed to the more linear way of being. And it is truly also like being in that space has then like taken me to the space where I see that I can trust me. Like I can trust what I know and my awareness and the energy around it. So it's totally changed my life, the Generative Business Pods. And if you had asked me when I signed up, I was kind of like Laurie, I think, in the sense where it was like I got the ping and it was light, and you know, I was like, I think I need to sign up for this, but I wasn't like, yeah, I'm going to sign up for those. You know, it just totally has expanded my world, and I'm so grateful.
Cool. Thank you. And I actually, for those of you who are on live who have not yet have been on the Business Buds, I'm really curious, what made you hop on? And if you could get anything out of our conversation today, and if you had any question for us, what would that be?
Okay, for me, when I hear about this, it was really light. I just want to go, and I don't have a business right now, but that is not a problem.
No, because do you wake up in the morning?
Yeah,
And you're in business.
yeah, I know, and I have just started to creating my life. I have done some session with another access, and I just want to create a lot now.
Yeah, like yesterday.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. So
cool. And anyone else want to chime in?
I'll chime in. Hi, it's Tracy here. Sorry, I've just woken up too. I said to my body, look, what if you want me to jump on this call and you want to be on this call, then you need to wake me up. I'm not setting an alarm because it's 5 o'clock in the morning over here, and I thought I'm going to wake everybody up in the house if I'm not quiet enough. So the reason I came on is that I have a blog site that I've been working with for a while, and probably my awareness for the past, I suppose 5-10 years has been doing some generative stuff around helping out mums. I'm a mum of a boy who's got ADD and Asperger's, and for 12 years I've been working with him and come up to just try and give him, well, what my perception was at the time, the most normal life as possible without having to be, just so he could just have a happy life. And so it was a very tumultuous sort of 12 years, had many highs, lots of lows. And I have some amazing insights. I've been with Access probably, I think 3 years, 2 or 3 years now, 2 years. And I suppose that's given me the biggest awareness and eye-opening, and I've learned a hell of a lot. And I am so happy, calm, me, and I've unpacked a lot. I'm a life coach, and I've had to unpack stuff from there as well. And so I have created an alias called Zombie Mum. And Zombie Mum is all about silently screaming as a mother when you just do everything for everybody else and you forget about who you are as a person. And it's about rediscovering your identity as a person and then getting out there and inspiring and empowering your children to become amazing role models. Being an amazing role model to your children and inspiring your kids to be happy and healthy and confident and empowered to actually follow their dreams and also be amazing adults of the future. And so I have been unpacking lots of things and doing a very good job of hiding for quite a while now. And my last year, something came up to actually speak on a cruise ship, and I thought, that would be fun because I love cruising, and also I really wanted to. I thought, maybe this will sort of get me started and get me going, and so I put the application in. And even though I hadn't really ever spoken before, I had to write 5 presentations, and I was like, oh my God, I haven't even got one. So I put it aside for about a month, and then I pulled it back out and went, I've got a plan. I can just use all my blogs and repurpose those and speak talking about them. And so put the application in. She came back saying, I think that this would be inspiring to our the people that come on the cruise. And I went, oh, cool. And then just before Christmas, she sent through a sheet saying, well, here's all of the cruises. Start choosing which ones you wanted to apply for, and it's first in best dressed. And I thought, oh, wow, I'm really busy and I haven't got time to do that. So I put it aside about a week or so after that, got onto it and looked at it and then put it in thinking, I probably missed out because it's a bit late. And then earlier this year, I said to the universe, okay, show me what you want me to do, universe. Show me where you want me to be. And what are we going to do this year? And so, because it was school holidays and stuff. And then I got the email, you booked on this cruise on the 20th of March. And I've gone, oh my God, how clever am I? I manifested all of that. Holy shit, here we go. We're on our way. And so from that, it's created this, oh God, okay, well, yep, we're moving. We're now moving. And I'm in the space where I'm ready to move. And I went to a brand accelerator workshop with a friend who I did a class, my coaching class with, and her husband. And it's all about getting your brand out there and teaching you how to monetize it and create stuff for it and do things for it. And I'm quite savvy when it comes to all that stuff. And what makes my heart sing is getting out there and speaking and sharing stories and inspiring people and doing it that way. All the back end stuff of coming up with, creating a webinar or a podcast or all that sort of stuff, that's kind of, for me, like, can someone just tell me, like, okay, we need to come up with a blog or we need to come up with this or that, and I'll go, yeah, sure, I'll write one of those and get that happening and make it all happen. And so this sort of spoke to me, what they had, but it's like, it was $6,000. And there was something about it that that wasn't singing to me, and I couldn't put my finger on that. And since then I've spoken to a few people through Access, and I get that it was like a bit of a void. There just was something there, and I think it's got a lot to do with I'm very aware of the energy of what zombie mum is, and don't really want to stick it into a streamlined system as such, what this reality would do, and about you got to do this, and this, and then say these words and all that, and I don't want to lose that energy. So I'm going, well, okay, so I possibly, I need to find some connectors and movers from a good energy place to get this happening. And so my body's waking me up, and I'm on the call, and so I do not know much about the Generative Business Pods. I did miss the first sort of 10 minutes. So, but yeah, it's sprung into awareness, and I'm wondering if this in some way can be something that can just keep me rolling, because I don't want to get stuck, kind of sinking back to my little shell again, hiding. I don't think I've got a chance of doing that really, but yeah. So on.
Yeah, how does it get better than that? And like, we'll speak to more about what I have spoken a bit about the Generative Business Pods, but it really is this playground, this spaciousness to bring your creations, and whether you know the tools of Access Consciousness or not, because Generative Business Pods was my first Access class ever.
Oh, really? Wow.
I hadn't taken bars. I had been listening to radio, hadn't taken bars, hadn't taken foundation or anything. But I knew when Heather reached out to me, because I've known her through other modalities, that when she said, I have this thing, it's like, they're going to be pods and we're talking about business. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but yes. And I knew that it was for me. And it, my hobby became a really beautiful business and continues to become a beautiful business. And get on, relationship shifting and parenting becoming. And one of the things actually I wanted to speak to before I'm going to make you wait, because I'm good at that. Is one of the things that I love about the pods and what that's created in my world, and the invitation that Heather bees in her world and how she shows up and as a facilitator and in her life, is that there's no more segregation. I think that's the right word. There's no more separation in my world. I used to think when I was doing business, I couldn't have my mom hat on, and I'd like my kid, and if my kid was around, I was pissed off and I was mad and I couldn't do my business, and I was that energy. And now it's like, he's sick, he's home today, and business goes on as business goes on. It's different because then we pause and I cuddle and I make sure he's well. But it's no longer this like in my world. And that like you we're speaking of, Tracy, is this flow of like, oh, I've asked for this, and then all of a sudden it shows up, and I give it a little space, and it's still there, and now I'm booked on this cruise, which is phenomenal, right? And it's like this creative playground of it isn't linear, and yet to in my mind it's totally linear because I'm so spherical. But it's this playground of, okay, what next? Asking questions, choice, solution, possibility. What is available out there? What information do I require? And then the way the pods are designed and is actually, I want to get. Hold on a second here. I'm going to pull something else up for us to see.
I think I stumbled across it because I went last week. My kids are now 13 and 16. So my boy, who with the ADD, is he's in year 12, in final year of school, and happy, free and confident, and being him in his own fun, quirky way, and getting into acting and doing all that. So last week, I knew I had some presentations, but I found out the dynamics of the group on board, and I had this awareness that I needed to change my presentations. And so I was heading to a friend's apartment. She's away right on the water. And I said, well, I'll just go away for a couple of days and hone in on these presentations and just get into a really nice creative space. And my husband said to me, well, why don't you just go away for even more days into the weekend? So it turned out to be five full days. And here I was creating. And in that 5 days, I was onto the Corey's Ask and Receive, and then I did some of Crystal's money calls and money bomb, and even got to do the workbook. Finally, it's been sitting in my filing cabinet, and so much expansiveness and awareness is like I just changed. So coming back home, it was I have got so much more space and like awareness. And coming back home, the kids were all thrown and everything was all sort of out of whack, because I had realized that I had stepped up into so much more, and I had let go of a hell of a lot of stuff. And so it feels like the universe is gently guiding me to be prepared to step out of that. And it's funny you should say that, because it was like, oh my God, they don't need me anymore. They're telling me they can do it all by themselves. Can I feel a little bit needed still? I have put in like 12 years here of hard slog. Please still need me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And what contribution to your business, and how does that relationship shift now, and not even being needed, but this needlessness of this beautiful communion that can be created. Right?
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
Because it can expand and be a lot. So yes, now you found your stuff.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to see if I can share my screen, because I want you to see, those of you let me see if I can share my screen. And then I know Kim Seamers, can I call you out? Do you have anything you want to share? So you just sit down. Well, you should, and then I'll share the screen. Do you have anything? You don't have to.
No, I did. And then I forgot the question and I went away. So could you reorient me?
Yes. So Kim is another phenomenal woman in the Generative Business Pods that are currently going on. I have the joy and pleasure of living in the same town as her, so I get to be with her and see her as often as my schedule permits. And so the question for you, Kim, is there, in this 10 seconds and in the last 5.5 months of the Business Pods, what are you celebrating that you've created, that has shown up, that
well, I'm celebrating the ease that I could have with what has shown up. And so if I would look in a linear way at Generative Business Pod, I lost my job. I don't have a place to do bars anymore. My husband has health issues. Just is this the change I've been asking for? You didn't show up like I thought it would show up. But celebrating that and being open to what can be created from here, instead of I could have taken that a whole different way, and what a gift that is. Mm-hmm. How much therapeutic counseling could you go through to just checking in every week, and checking in on the tools and hearing how people are using their tools. And that's why I jumped on the call. I think that was one of the questions, was just to hear what everybody else is creating and just to hear more. It just keeps you going.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to share. I just want to share. See, you guys get to check this out. If you're watching, look at how many tabs are open on this computer. There's just a few things going on, but I wanted you to see the beauty. I mean, the invitation and the beauty that Heather Bees, as I know she's not on this call, but we just, we wanted to celebrate people in Generative Business Pods and invite you to the possibility of it. And so you can come to heathernichols.com/Generative Business Pods. The actual registration doesn't actually open until Monday. But if you really, really, really are you need to make sure I know this on Monday, so I don't, because it is a limited space program. Please, Maggie@heathernichols.com, or PM me on Facebook. And I just, as a quickie, for those of you who have heard of the Generative Pods and said, oh my goodness, this is super light, but like, what exactly is it? It's a 6-month program, as you can see here. You get one small group pod facilitation per month, and that's the one where you get more than one-on-one, and you have those 5 people that you are in a pod with. You get 2 teaching calls per month with Heather on the energetics of creation and business. You get 1 Q&A Zoom hangout with me, so you get to ask me questions. I'm the tech whiz behind Heather's business, and the graphic maker, and lots of other things. So you get me as a resource as well. Heather creates these beautiful energetic exercises in home play that you get, the energetic exercises. There's a whole slew of them you get right away. And then you also, which I'm so excited for, Heather has this 30 days of acknowledgement program coming up that starts on the 10th of this month that will actually be included in the pods this round. It really is 30 days of, there will be 3 calls, there'll be a Facebook group, and it is an invitation to really acknowledge. And what Laurie spoke about, which was just so brilliant, the way she put it, is this: the more I acknowledge, the more I'm aware of, the more. So we have that. And then on top of that is a private Facebook group for the pods, where it is the conversation, and the conversation, you get to create that. That's part of the beauty of the pods. It's this coming together and creating, and you bring the questions and you bring that, and Heather is there, I am there, the other people in the pods are there to co-create greater. If you need contribution one day, if things are feeling wonky, you go there and you go, hey, can I have some contribution? And boom, 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 you have a whole bunch of people going, like, sending you contribution, and it's such a beautiful thing. So I'm here for questions right now, and you can look and see this video on this was last year. I did a bit more of a Q&A. If you want more information, it goes into more details as well. And then you can read about Heather. And then there's like lots, if you want to hear what it's created for people around the globe, you can grab a cup of coffee or tea or wine, your choice, if you want, and see what other people, it's created for other people in their world. So we'll come back to the stop share, but oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, so do you have any questions about that? Anybody, about the kind of logistics of the Generative Business Pods?
Is all the call at the same time?
So the group call, like the one with Heather, will be at the same time, and that's usually Tuesdays at 1:30 in the afternoon. So that's twice a month. And then the pod calls, the specific, when you're in the 5 people, the pod calls, they pretty much, we hit every time zone. So you end up, when you register, we tell you what pods times there are, and you let us know which ones absolutely don't work, and we put you in a time that works for you. Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other questions about that?
You said 1:30. I'm not sure what time, but do you know what time is it there now?
It's 12:44 now, so it would be 1:30. So if you said you got up at 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so now it is, so it will be, yeah, it's 5:45 in the morning. Yeah. So oh, that's good. So that will be that little bit, 8 o'clock or something like that. Or yeah, cool.
Way to start your day.
just not at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't mind the 6 o'clock calls. At 5 o'clock is like, oh really? Okay.
Yeah. And any other questions about the logistics of the pods?
So okay, so it's based on time with selection of who you podding in pods with, and the systems and the technical support. Is that creating stuff like for Facebook or social media and that type of learning stuff, or what is the systems and technical support mean?
So sometimes, Heather will do calls on systems and talk about systems and the energetics of how you ask questions about systems and how to create that. And then we also have actually a library of Zooms already that have to do with Facebook, different systems, news.
Okay, cool.
And then what's being created in the next little bit are really specific shorter videos about that as well. And I believe both Heather and I are going to do them, but Heather's going to take the lead on that. My crazy brain doesn't do as well slowing it down. So she's going to do that because she has this real knack of really nailing down the clarity of systems. She's a genius with systems. Like just a genius. So yeah, it'll be that. And then the Q&As with me will be, what in general, and this is a new added feature to the pods. It will be your questions about business. It'll be about technology and what I'm getting right now. And, we play with the energy of the flow. It will probably have some form of a theme. Like the group calls that Heather does is usually like, okay, she'll come to the call with a theme. And then if someone's really like, no, I really need to go here today, we go there.
Okay. Yeah, cool. And in the calls that the pods do, is it, are they a specific time frame, or are they a bit structured in a way that, or is it like a mastermind type thing where everyone just checks in and feels on how it's all going?
Okay, so are you asking about the pods of 5 or the full group of everybody in the pods?
The 5, the smaller pods.
So the 5, everybody comes to the call, and what you basically get about, depending on, the day, and please chime in if you're in the pods right now. My experience was everybody gets 15 to 20 minutes, depending on if everybody, 10 to 20, depending on what's up and who shows up for the pod. If there's someone gone, sometimes you get a little bit more time of one-on-one, like, what's up, guys? When I first started the pods, I was the one who was quiet and sat back and waited. And then by halfway through my second round and then into my third round, when Heather, we got on our 5-person pod call, I'd be like, okay, I got this going on and diving in to it. So it's a co-creation, and you come with what is up in your world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it usually, it's crazy. It's like everybody, what people come with is very similar to what you're coming with. For some magical reason, consciousness has our backs, and we end up in these pod groups that are dynamically supportive and expansive for us.
Cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah. What else? Any other questions about logistics? I just want to read Katarina Nilsson said, I wonder what all of us can create with the generative pods having our backs in the next 6 months. And then she #grateful. And I wonder these days, I'm like, I wonder what my business will be like tomorrow. I wonder what my business will be like. Wonder what my business and my life will be like in a week from now, if I'm willing to choose and step into something like the Generative Business Pods and right? What could you create? What could you step into? How much fun could you have? So everything that doesn't allow you to have way more fun than you're supposed to, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And for those of you who may not, I'm pretty sure everybody has had a taste of access, but that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. You can find out more at theclearingstatement.com. So I want to shine the spotlight back on the potties. The potties having a potty. And what else would you like to say, celebrate? Because this is about a celebration of creation, and maybe you want to share something about creation, maybe you want to share something about celebration, that I would love to hear and have you share with everybody here on this conversation and those listening in the future. What else are you celebrating? What else are you creating? What seeds can we plant to create far beyond our wildest dreams?
Well, this is Laurie. I loved when you were talking with Kim, and she said something about what's right about this, like how things are right, like, you know, what's right about all this change going on. And that was something that was really huge for me to really get, you know, what was right about what was going on, and some of what's still going on with my body. But it's just not a problem anymore. Like, it's so interesting. It's just, what can I do? What can I create? Where can I go? Like, what else is possible? And then even when Michelle was really talking about really getting into the energetics of it, like, what do I desire to create? What do I desire for my life to be like? And the non-exclusion, like, I can't remember which one of you ladies brought that up, but that was so, you know, like the way Heather does that, and it's like life, body, family, friends, like it's all the business of our lives, and how much that has, you know, contributed to me not having the exclusion or separation of anything. And because I was like, really, I was at the place where it was like, if I don't change my body, I can't enjoy my life. And I really got it, that it's like, it's almost like I was in debt energetically with my body. But I wouldn't create anything until I got my body better. But the thing was, is it wasn't until I started to create anything that my body would get better, you know? And so now, you know, now it's like all together. Like, it's like this morning I got to see my grandson for breakfast, and that contributed to me. And I'm like, how can this contribute to my business, and how contribute to my life? And then come on this call, and how can this contribute to my life and my business? Like, there's no exclusion that, you know, I should have been doing anything other than what was fun for me. And that in itself creates more. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I love that.
I know, don't you just want to eat her up? I'm like,
no.
love you, Laurie.
Over here.
She's so awesome. I'll just add too, money, like it's definitely about money too, and how much fun, and what is money to you, and what isn't fun about money, and removing that judgment. And it's funny because a month before we started the pods, I was looking for something about business and growing a business, and I knew I required it to be energetic. And so I think I listened to maybe 3 minutes of your hangout last time before I was already choosing it and paying for it. And it was, before that, there was one that was like $50, and I was like, oh, that feels like really heavy and a lot. So this is 10 times more per month. And it felt like totally light and expansive. And I knew that by choosing Heather and you, because your energy is so vital in this too. And by choosing that, I knew that I would generate that money and more, that it would immediately catapult my money relationship. And it is cool. I mean, we talked about money. I mean, there was times where I was like, this is not what I expected it to be. My business is not going anywhere. And I mean, Heather would kick my butt, and she'd be like, okay, let's take a step back and let's really look at this, and let's talk about your money and where you're at. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing way better than I thought I was. Like, how am I not acknowledging this? Like, I've hardly even touched my savings. Okay, like, holy crap. Like, and she helped me to get out of my own way of judging myself and being in this space of stopping, because I would stop the flow, because I would start judging it, and then it would just like expand even more. And then people would start demanding of me that I would come up with a different capacity that they would pay me for. Like, it's a capacity that I already had. And they're like, ooh, could I pay you for that? Yeah, you can. Okay, rock on. How's it get any better than that? And part of that was like her saying, you can put out that question to the universe, like, that people will demand to pay you even more than you're expecting, and for things that you don't even realize that you would offer. And I was like, oh my gosh, how fun can this be? So yes, it's all those things. It's, you know, like we bring in the kids, the sex, the relationships, the body, health, and money. And it's all like all of it's connected, and friends who have your back.
Cool. Thank you.
Right?
Awesome. Yeah.
That's me.
I love it. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody? Well, actually, just to speak of that, because I didn't, the pricing of the pods is $500 a month for 6 months, and it's designed as there isn't a full chunk pay. It's designed so that you pay the 500 and you get to create going forward. And my story, if I were to have a story, is that's all I had to my name when the pods I was invited there. And after registering and paying, within the less than a week, I had enough for the next couple payments just by choosing to be in the energy of it. So it is a real cool energy space to play in. And I just wanted to say that. And thank you, Tara, for, yeah. Anybody else want to jump in, celebrate, ask a question before we finish up here?
I just piggyback a little bit on what Laurie was saying, and today actually is like a great example of of totally, like she was saying, she was with her grandson and like all of that contributing to my business and my flows. Like today I got my hair cut, I came on this, and you know, I did some business this morning, and when I was walking out the door, it's so funny that Laurie said this, because I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, it is like that. It is business different. It's doing business different. And to me, what Heather is such a genius at is inviting you to discover that special part of you that can contribute to your whole thing. And what Tara was saying too about Maggie, I mean, it's like, yes, thank you, Maggie Schlarb. It's like, you are a special woman, and you are a part of the generative business parts. You're an integral part, and to be able to ask questions to Maggie about, you know, MailChimp and just any of those sort of more pragmatic things having to do with systems is such a gift. Yeah, and the contribution you be. So thank you.
Thank you. Cool. Well, last call for questions, celebrations. And I just want to say, I know that not everybody from this round of pods, and it's celebrating those of you who are on the pods and celebrating those of you who chose to show up. It is such a gift to be in the presence of such brilliant, potent, magical beings, whether in this 10 seconds you know it or not. And I'm so grateful you're here. And your next action step, your adventure, your challenge, your play, if you choose, is to go check out heathernichols.com/businesspods. Message me on Facebook or Maggie@heathernichols.com. And if you're interested in the pods, and you're like, get me on that list so that I get first dibs, send it my way. For extra excited people, we make sure you get the information. And the other piece is left the building. What is the other piece? The other piece is really like, what would you like to choose, and what would you like to create? And, you know, if this is a contribution and an expansion in your world, please come play. And if it's not, then I wonder what's out there for you. And just let's go play, create, and step into what we know, and each of us individually know that is possible, that can really change the direction of the planet, of, you know, everything, our bodies, the animals, and create a really generative place to be in this world. Cool. Yay. Well, on that note, So Cassie said, as someone who did 2 rounds of the business pods, it is such a gift to your business and your life and your planet. Thank you, Cass. I didn't even know you were on here, you sneaky girl. Yeah, so go forth, create, choose, play, and I look forward to seeing you somewhere along the lines in the future. Bye.